Me too. Sorry, I hope. DTM Venus was giving a very informal speech today. He started with something which was very interesting, which we used to do every day, because some clients call, I say, how are you? Before they say fine, they say how are you? Then fine, we don't know where to say fine and where to say how are you. So that was a real start for this speech. They were very good. From there, he gave a humorous twist for it by saying, then finally, if you're missing some people from club or your vicinity, you finally end up with, instead of saying how are you, end up with asking who are you. Then he started, from there he went to his childhood days. His birthplace is very near to Sabrimala. It was 94 kilometers. Actually, it was 74 kilometers.
92.
So we are between us only 20 kilometers. 92?
Yeah, not 94.
You were not there. And then how did he spend the childhood? And then how was it was different from the new generation? And then all of a sudden, the U-turn he had, he went to Manama, Bahrain, and from there came back to India and started the Middle East Club and all this. So it was a very interesting speech. All through the speech we enjoyed because a lot of humor. Like I like it. It was a breaking moment when he started from Mumbai to Bahrain. You know, there are a lot of moments you know about him. So the good thing I like about his speech is the humor itself, and also his stage presence. You don't have to mention about his stage presence and his interaction with the audience, and also the expression. These are one of the main things which I liked about the speech, and all of you all agree with that because he has given more than 75 plus speeches on here itself. Yeah, okay, at least for DTM base I am counting it. But two things I wanted to point out, maybe particular about this speech, is one, that one thread was missing in the speech. It was all talking about yourself, but then the thread was missing throughout the speech, how there was no connection between some of the part, from the initial part and towards the conclusion. The second one was when you're giving a lot of ideas, a lot of stories about how you started with three members and all. A call for action, at least for the new generation sitting here, the new Toastmasters sitting here, a call for action would have been made much better. Otherwise, I enjoyed the speech, looking forward to it.
To evaluate the next speaker, DTM Sundaraman sir, he nicely speak about the environment, where to use mobile, where not to use mobiles, and how to protect and maintain the environment. To evaluate his speech, I request Toastmaster Mohan Subramaniam to come on stage. For him, any festival is a special, especially Diwali, connecting with friends and families with lots of food.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am my target speaker, DTM Sundaraman. Mindfulness and she. I'm sure when he started preparing, he wanted all of us to think the speech is about Jayanti, and we all played into his hands, almost every one of us, right? So it's an excellent topic taken, very relevant. The thing is about presentation mastery, which I will be evaluating, and the topic was very relevant, which all of us face day to day, and he has taken pains to take all the photographs and stitch it into a visual presentation, which is very nicely done. So it shows a very relevant topic, which impacts each one of us. The clarity of the message was very good, very focused. What he wanted to talk about it, and he took from his industry, as he said, from the petroleum industry. He knows safety, health, and environment. Probably one of the best experts we have around. So he used his expertise to give a very good presentation on safety, health, and environment. So I like the clarity of the message. I like the way he went through, and being a accomplished speaker, delivery was flawless, and he was just very naturally connecting with all of us. So overall, I would say a very well done speech. Now the purpose of this speech is to take the two feedback which was given in his earlier presentation of the same subject, and I also have one third suggestions today. The other the two feedback which was given in his earlier presentation was, the first one was eye contact, In fact, I saw the video, the presentation was done in a conference room setting, so maybe partly because of that. The feedback was he was only talking to half the audience on the right hand side. So I think that feedback is applied. He was seamless in connecting across and all the audience. So I didn't see that it's an issue. So the first feedback has been applied. The second feedback was usage of gestures. The evaluator observed that he was a little stiff, especially when holding the slide advancer. And then so he was not very natural in terms of, and the postures were not very relaxed. So there was a feedback given when you are not using the slide advancer, you can relax and go to a natural posture. So I think definitely it's partially applied. Still, I thought he was a little stiff in terms of using the slide advancer. I don't know whether that is the reason. It was not usual, natural self-off in terms of applying gestures. It was a little restricted today. So that is something I want you to consider if you're looking at the feedback seriously again. Then, from being a purely presentation subject, I have one third suggestion. See, normally the recommendation is for the visuals to interact with the audience, the visuals to sync in. And then it's very important to synchronize the visuals with the presentation. For example, when you presented the food slide, it's always recommended to give a pause, see people observe what, a couple of seconds or 4 seconds. You have let the slide impact the audience, let them get the message from the slide, and if required, you can explain. Explanation is fine, but definitely it can be curtailed. So the suggestion is to have the visuals talk to the audience and then sync in with the audience and pass on your message through the visuals. So overall, excellent speech. I think feedback predominantly has applied. The third suggestion is to let the visuals talk instead of you. That's all I would say. All the best.
The next speaker, Toastmaster Krishna, nicely speak about economy. It was very high level in emotional speech. To evaluate his speech, I request DDM Vijay Lakshmi to come on stage. I know her very well, but she don't know me. She recently visited my office for the speech craft session. She blasted almost 45 minutes everyone in my office. It's like a 5,000 ball. For her festivals calls for celebration. It's time to celebrate togetherness and family, friends, sweets, savory, gifts and new clothes. Our favorite festival is Navaratri. I request Vijay Lakshmi to come on stage.
General Evaluator, members of Medley, good afternoon. Who knew history could be such a merriment until Toastmaster Krishna an era of darkness? There are so many things that I liked about your speech today, Krishna, but I'm going to talk about the 3 things that I loved about your speech. Content, clarity, conviction. The content of the speech, you started absolutely paying justice to the topic selection and era of darkness. So you explained to us what kind of situation we were in, India was in probably. We were in the brink of bankruptcy, we wanted to buy the oil, we didn't have cash. We were almost on the verge of pledging 40 tons of gold to England and all of that. So you clearly explained what kind of situation we were dealing at that time. Secondly, adding to the clarity, the story of how he became the leader of India. So that was the time he was all packed and ready to leave when he was not given a seat in the Lok Sabha. But the unfortunate assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, and he took over to the helm of affairs. Very well done. Now, secondly is the conviction part. The one you touched about the culture, and the one that you spoke about demonetization, 20% of devaluing the money, the oil from Kuwait, the Iran war and everything, you had absolute conviction while you were saying that. You were almost frustrated that we had to pledge so much tons of gold. Absolutely love the way you did that, with your gesture in place as well. Now finally, your content, your clarity and your conviction. Now, in all the 3 of these played a lot of in-role to what you were saying today. But in addition to what you did fairly well today, there are 2 things that I thought you could have done better to make this good speech go up a few notches. Now the first one is credibility. Now a research and presentation speech definitely calls for source. So you had this big story to share with us, and probably I wanted to know where the source came from. I have read this book called 1991, How P.V. Narasimha Rao Became a Leader by Sanjay Baru. but I'm not sure if that was the same book that you referred to give us the story today. However, if you have cited the source for your speech today, it would have definitely added more credibility to you as a speaker. Secondly, now you established a very well connect with your audience and everything. However, what is the end of your research today? You did absolute research, but what is the end of your research? What is that you want me to take away from your research today? Probably if you have talked in terms of Toastmasters terminologies, I could have related better with you. How P.V. Narasimha Rao trusted Manmohan Singh to be in his cabinet? How did he choose the right person for the right job? And how if the whole world was against him, but he never backed out? Probably if you have touched upon leadership personalities of P.V. Narasimha Rao, like never backing out, trust, credibility, choosing the right person for the right job, probably the connect could have been better. So with your content clarity and your credibility in place, if you have worked on the variety, the source, and probably if you've added Toastmasters terminology, you could definitely take this speech a few notches up.
I request the next speaker, Toastmaster Ramlingam, to evaluate his speech. DTM Alex Jacob to come on the stage. For him, he don't like celebrations, but he like festivals, its meaning and traditions. Little bit confusing.
General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear speaker, Ramlingam in particular. I started searching for my job in 2003 and I saw this big IT parks in Pune and Bangalore. And I thought the life there was brilliant. Then I joined in one of these IT parks, I realized like it's so brilliant. Right? I think humorous speeches are like that. When we are on the other side and looking at the speaker, we say, oh, he could have done so many things different, or he could have done so many things different. He would have made this twist and things like that. But when you're a speaker here, it is a different job. I think Toastmasters gives us ample opportunity to explore ourselves, experiment things and see how things are. Today, I must say that Ramlingam was fairly successful in making us laugh. I could hear some of them or some of us laughing. Maybe planned or not planned, I don't know, but people are laughing. So it was happening. And I think seeing at his beard, I could really believe that he was making it and making it. It was happening very well. So overall, I must say from a pure project objectives point of view, everything was met. So you need to make people laugh. Objectives were met. And now, when you look at Ramlingam as an accomplished speaker, we need to give it, and we need to give it feedback which is, he can take it and work it on it and can improve in his next speeches. So I believe purely from a humorous speech standpoint of view, there are a few things could have been better, could have been worked out differently, that could have actually changed the way the whole speech was made. I think probably one thing which is missed in the whole humorous setup is the self-deprecation. I think self-deprecation is the essence of great humor. Probably at times I felt the character, the Vikas, I couldn't get it exactly, but he was attacked too often, too brutally, to bring some laughter. Probably great humorous speakers often tell us that you need to be attacked or you need to be in that position so that the humor will be out much more. That is one thing. Second is there was a little confusion between the theme, we make it, fake it, and the short stories of the incidents you added. So I was confused in between now what is the plot, where is it leading to. Probably an alignment with that would have made it a difference. So, and third would be a bit of context setting and conflict. So you set the context of because fairly well, but the conflict was not so strong. So I find that these three things could have been tied together, could have made a speech much more interesting. Probably the last thing it is for all the Toastmasters. I recently asked one of the stand-up comedians, how do you guys make everybody laugh? And this is such a difficult job. And I think the best message he gave that you need to feel as the character who is insulting somebody, you need to feel the character who is making somebody happy. I think that's a central message for a humorous speech, I guess. So overall, I must say that there's a huge scope in this speech. I'm sure you will be working to make it an extraordinary speech next time. All the best to the speaker, and thank you so much.
This will end up with the evaluation section. I hope everyone enjoyed the evaluation section. I request the timer to read the qualified evaluator's name.
All the evaluators are qualified. Sai TM
Yeah,
Sai
also I request the
Jyotirmayi
timer to
and
read the full
TM
report for all the sections. Full report.
The qualified evaluators are Toastmaster Sai Jyotirmayi and Toastmaster Sunil Jose, Toastmaster Mohan Subramaniam, Toastmaster Vijay Lakshmi, and Toastmaster Alex Jacob. For prepared speakers, Toastmaster Rohit, he spent 6 minutes and 18 seconds, and Toastmaster Sundar Raman, he spent 6 minutes and 14 seconds. Toastmaster Subramaniam, he spent 6 minutes and 57 seconds, and Toastmaster Krishna, he spent 7 minutes and 33 seconds. Toastmaster Ramalingam, he spent 5 minutes and 33 seconds. Coming to table topic session, Toastmaster Amit spent 1 minute and 44 seconds. Toastmaster Alakappan spent 57 seconds. Toastmaster Devaraj spent 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Toastmaster Surendra spent 1 minute 47 seconds. Toastmaster Satish spent 1 minute 15 seconds. Guest Aswin spent 1 minute 34 seconds. Guest Rajashekar spent 1 minute 58 seconds. Toastmaster Mohan spent 1 minute 9 seconds. Sorry, guest Dinagaran spent 1 minute 16 seconds. That's the end of the
Thank you.
overview.
Audience, please, you can vote for the best evaluator. Now I request accountant to give the full report.
In the prepared speeches, Toastmaster Rohit had one filler word, TM VMS gave a clean speech, TM Sundararaman had a clean speech, TM Krishna had one filler word, TM Ramalingam gave a clean speech. In the evaluation sessions, Toastmaster Sai Jyotirmayi had one filler word, Sunil Jose gave a clean speech, Mohan Subramaniam gave a clean speech, Vijay Lakshmi gave a clean speech, TM Alex Jacob gave a clean speech. On the table topics, Toastmaster Alagappan gave a clean speech, Toastmaster Amit had one filler word, Toastmaster Devaraj had one filler word, Toastmaster Surendra gave a clean speech, Toastmaster Satish gave a clean speech, Toastmaster Ashwin gave a clean speech, guest Ashwin. Guest Rajashekar had one pause, one filler word, guest Mohan had one filler word, and guest Dinagaran gave a clean speech.
Now I request Bernardian to give the full report.
Thank you, General. Let me start with so let's start with the field of the round of applause. So, Toastmaster Rohit. We have Toastmaster Sunil Singh was the TT Master of the day, who is the word of the day. We have Toastmaster Jyotirmayi and Toastmaster Sunil Singh, the word of the day. Okay, so coming to the usages of sentences, words, phrases. Okay, let me talk about the stuff that we do. So Toastmaster Rohit, I use terms like heavy downpour, very vivid memory, something untoward, restorative and colors. Okay, very interesting usage there. VNS, obviously humor is his hallmark. So very interesting phrase which came out there is, I too is not me too, or you too. Okay, I don't know what you meant. Okay, so we had Toastmaster Sundaram talking about using the terms like wandering about, and then there are a lot of gems from Toastmaster Krishna, I can definitely mention that. Just in tough times, they said the preamble, Prince must imitate the lion and the fox. Very interesting phrase I'm listening for the first time. Defining movement for Indians, complete gamut, cuts through like butter. No force on earth can stop an idea to stand aside. That's a very strong phrase there. And then we have TM Ramalingam, just like bold and beautiful, use phrases like bold and honesty. I don't know where the inspiration came from. Okay. So, the next thing, obviously, he completed with saying that faith in human being, again a strong phrase there. Toastmaster Sundaresan, better off in a casket rather than being in eulogy. Feel the fear. Then we have Toastmaster Jyotirmayi, beaming with confidence, learn to chill out. We have Mohan say, talking about giving the great evaluation and talking about giving the very good presentation. Vijayalakshmi, absolute conviction, and Alex, self-declaration. So these are good phrases and terminologies we should take. Overall, a very good session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I request the audience to vote for the best tag player. Meantime, I will present my general evaluator report. Meeting started on time. Room setup was done neatly. Ribbon, cable, board and notice board were properly arranged. The meeting introduction was brief and clear. The meeting roles were explained very well. The performance of speaker were awesome. The session was like a festival. Speakers were blasting like crackers and evaluators added more color to the session. Table topic, master topics were very clear, understandable. But one or two topics comes under taboo topics. It could be avoided in future. In small suggestion for ExCom members, the last minute we are writing the agenda in the board that we can avoid, and which is negligible because of the venue change area to this place. It's looking for. It's understandable. But still, and the tag team seats were vacant till the meeting started. Again, this is also the venue change, but with this also we can avoid in the future. In between, a couple of them mobiles were not silent. For our Adayar venue, we put the small notice board in the outside. So same we can have it here also. These are the small suggestions from my side. Other than that, everything goes well. The outstanding session is like a 10,000 wala. With this, I like to hand over the meeting to my first.
Thank you, Karthikeyan, and it was a wonderful session. You guys can relax because we came to the end of the session, so don't worry. Yeah, hey, see, that's the cheers to that we have from Alex.